change is not enough. What do you do? What are we here for? What do you truly want when change is not enough? What do you do? Let's talk about it, the problems we face. Let's fight hatred, no time to waste. The mind is naked, we can see it without an x-ray. Life is easy if we work together. We're the keepers, we're the people, we're all equal, filled with purpose. The past has pain, it'll drive you, even make you take aim. But together is where we should aim. Together is where we should. What are we here for? What do you truly want when change is not enough? What do you do?
Season 6 of the Be Forever Cool podcast, episode 2. Very excited for that. It's a new year. Also very excited about that. Going to bring the guys in. We're going to be talking about rumors, and we're going to be talking about 2005 MotoGP season and what's happening there and stuff like that. But with no further ado, let me bring in the gang. As I like to do. TJ, welcome to the show, man. How you doing, man? I hear some background going back there. You might have to throw some things at people and tell them to keep it down, man. You know what I mean? How you doing in 2026, man?
Everything's good over here. I mean, can't complain. It's just cold up here, but it's pretty quiet. So, I mean, I'm not sure where the noise is coming from, but hopefully they quiet down wherever it is. But,
Yeah.
playoffs is coming for football. I know every week we usually bring in my Patriots. They're doing good. So we're crossing our fingers now because now it's where it matters. But we did good for the regular season.
They're doing good, man. I'm pretty
Good,
impressed
good.
with what you're doing.
Yeah, and then to follow that, we got some testing coming the end of the month, a few weeks. So back in the actual racing. So I'm excited.
No doubt, man. I'm looking forward to it too, for sure. But we're gonna keep it moving, and let me see if I can sort this out today. I'm on a whole new setup here. Welcome to the show, Lewis. It's 2026. Happy New Year. All that fun stuff. Seems like you got your Jason Bourne on. I don't know what's going on over there, but what I'm saying, I might have to stay away from you. What's good, man?
Undisclosed location. Don't know where I'm at right now. Keep it a real incognito.
No doubt.
No, everything's good. Holidays were good. Family's good. Kicked off the new year right, real low key, just with the family. Had a good time, and now kind of ready to get back into the swing of things. For most of the country, it's still cold, but in this industry, everybody knows that January is already the start of the peak season. Things have to go out soon. Dealers have to have inventory by the end of February. Things got to be ready to pop off in March for 80% of the country that's right now in the cold. Because as soon as it gets warm, that one warm day, man, doors open up. People start flooding into the stores, looking for bikes, looking for gear, looking for everything else. So
Well, I mean,
it's always a happy time of year.
I think the fanatics don't care if it's warm or not.
The fanatics don't, but there's a section of the population that when that one warm 70-degree day hits in like New York City after 3 months of being in the 30s,
Uh-huh.
where it's like, yo, I got a lot of money in my pocket that I just need to burn. let me make some dumb financial decisions.
Shout out to those people that make those decisions, because listen, we wouldn't survive if we
Nope.
weren't making them. And I'm including myself in that,
We
because
yeah, I was gonna say I make them too.
right.
So it's
No, hang on, man. I mean, I sorry I cut you off, but we're gonna catch it up. I'm trying to sort out the situation at hand here, and you would think I would do it the right way, but let me see if I can do it like this. There you go. I'm bringing the guys. I'm back. It's been like a couple of weeks off. The tech is not quite there. I see Reese trying to sort it out. We're gonna bring him in anyway, because why not? It's 2026. You know what I'm saying? Blink 3 times, Reese, if you need you need us to come get you. Well, we're gonna be talking rumors, and we'll let them get sorted out and bring them in and all that fun stuff. But we'll start with TJ, man, because let's do it. What have you heard for rumors? I was gonna start and say my rumors first, but I'm gonna wait till the end, because I don't really pay attention to him that much, but I see him like you see him. So what have you seen? What have you heard? How much of it are you buying into, or is it just all food for thought?
Yeah, so you might have to fill me in on some rumors that you've heard. I mean, I haven't really seen much, so I'm gonna have to check it out, but seen some
You haven't
switch up
you
in
haven't
test riding.
You haven't seen anything
Nothing.
saying, Acosta's going to Ducati in 27 or nothing crazy. I mean, you all right, man?
I
You
mean,
gonna
how much can we believe? I mean, I've seen a little bit of it, but like,
talk
I
about?
mean,
I'm asking you to talk about what have you seen. I'm not asking you to validate it or verify it, but I'm saying, what have you seen, and what are your thoughts on what you've seen?
yeah, I mean, like, I mean, to be honest, I was just catching up on the 2005 season. I mean, there's no rumors. I heard like they're switching up some test riders to get used to the 27 bikes, and they're
Uh huh.
bringing over Jake Dixon or something like that. Uh, someone from I think from World Superbike to test ride.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm excited to hear what you guys want to talk about with
All
the
right.
rumors.
All right, man. Listen, man. I have to say, this coming back to the 2026 season, or just 2026 calendar. Normally, yeah, for everyone, New Year's is all this crazy oopla, and this is the first year like I'm struggling to be like trying to you know jump out the gate at 100. So I feel you where you're coming from, TJ, with that. Not having not roaring, but because of just the vacation and the holidays and all that fun stuff. So I get it. But let's talk to Lewis, man. What's going on, man? I know you keep your ears to the ground, and
I never stop. I never stop.
like
uh,
that song.
yeah, man. I mean, you guys are on the chat. You guys are on the thread. You see that I'm always sending out rumors and speculations and things that come across the wire. Tech 3 talking about leaving KTM. Obviously, the big thing going into 26 is you've got 18 of the 22 riders without a contract for 27. So that's, 90% of the grid does not have a contract for 2027. And how many of those guys are going to stay on this grid? How many of those guys are going to be gone? And how many of those guys are going to be changing from teams, changing from manufacturers? And possibly, there's rumors about CF Moto trying to become a new manufacturer within MotoGP. If
Yep.
KTM loses one of their teams, then they'll slide in and they might take that open spot for a manufacturer, two bikes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I,
So,
I I agree with you there. Before we get further into the weeds,
yep.
let's bring Reese into the building. What's good, Reese, man? How you doing? Welcome, Happy New Year, and all that fun stuff. I think you and Lewis right now might be in the same building, just on different floors, and might have bars in front of you.
What's going on, fellas? Happy New Year's and all you guys, man. Hope everybody was happy over the holidays and blessings. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm really excited for a 26 season. Already testing and ready to go.
Nice, nice. So you heard a little bit of Lewis talking about the rumors and stuff. Like, what rumors have you heard? Whether MotoGP, World Superbike, or as much as you can divulge in Motor America, man. Good. We heard.
I mean, I've heard in GP. I mean, same thing as Lewis. I mean, a lot of guys don't have a ride for 27. I mean, it's like half the grid is pretty much up for grabs. And I mean, I've heard that. I think I sent it out to you guys on the forum. I think, I mean, from what I heard, I've heard uh, Aaron Bassanini talking to Yamaha for 27.
Uh huh.
Which where is that going? I have no idea. So they're trying to grab him up, but and Renz is, from what I hear, Renz is gone. His contract is not renewed. Uh, World Superbike. I mean, I've heard so far that Oliveira is taking very well to that BMW.
Okay.
So maybe he won't get crashed into this year.
He got babies to feed, man.
Yeah.
It's a different lifestyle when you come up when you're a civilian. so, let's talk about it, guys. You guys put a lot on the table. I heard some of that ridiculous stuff. I've seen different images of Pedro Costa on Aprilia, on a VR46, on a factory bike. We see Quattararo with stuff going on out there. How much of this is, if we're, as a fan, right, we're kind of in it as well. So we have to keep the sense from the nonsense. But how much of this should fans be paying attention to? It is the off season. They probably should be listening to our show, but it is the off season. How much of this stuff should they be reading into? We'll start with Lewis.
It's good to listen, man. It's kind of like water fountain, water cooler talk. Like right now, nobody can say anything definitively because the season hasn't even started. And even though right now I can guarantee you there are people already talking with the current team that they're on and other opportunities, because if one opportunity falls through, you need to have plan B and plan C. So people are definitely already talking because these contracts don't happen overnight. They take a long time. There's a lot of things to consider. And then the manufacturers also want to understand who's interested in riding for them, who they're interested in, and if that party is interested in them. And then there's like, 4, 5, or 6 months of like a dating ritual where it's like, oh, well, let's see how they're riding this year. Let's see how they're coming across. Let's see how their season is going for them. Because if they start doing really good with the manufacturer they're on, then their stock for that manufacturer goes up. So maybe now they can go back to that manufacturer and try to get more money. But at the same time, their stock also goes up for another manufacturer because, hey, this guy's doing great with Aprilia. We want to get him over to Yamaha. Or this guy's doing great with KTM. We want to get him over to Ducati. Nobody is really in a rush to go to KTM because their financial insecurity is well known. So if I'm a younger rider, I'm looking at Ducati, I'm looking at Honda, and I'm looking at Yamaha and Aprilia. I'm not really looking at KTM. Like for right now, the way I look at KTM is the land of misfit toys. Like only the misfits want to go there because if they're around in 27, at least you have a factory ride, but you might only be a 2-person team. There's not, I don't see a 4-person KTM team come 2027 because of their financial struggles.
Right. TJ, I've heard that, at least one rider is already signed for the 2027 season. Do you think that's something that's believable? And is it better, do you think, to sign a contract sooner than later? Obviously, if you know where your money is coming from in 27, you just rest easy. I think, Furman Aldeguer, when he signed to Ducati early, I think people took notice to that and say maybe we shouldn't sign that early because he was signed early as well, and still had to do a year in Moto 2 before he could come up. What are your thoughts on, if a rider signed, and it's more Pedro Costa, let's just throw it out there, that I heard. Would it be, if he did sign, do you think it was wise to sign early than late? Then wait.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you definitely want to secure a seat just to be, confident and look forward. But the process is very long. They're switching to a different CC bike, and it's going to be completely different. A lot of packages going to be taken away. So I don't know. I think it's just the process is long. Just I guess it's just gonna be whoever pulls the trigger first. I think it's just gonna be sign after sign after sign, and but yeah, it's gonna be a big test also because I'm sure you're gonna have a different riding style for what's available for this bike. It's not as fast as the when they are now, and yeah, I just think they just gotta wait a little time to go by just to make sure it's the right fit. But I'm sure once the next couple signings go, I think it's just gonna be a quick process, and then you don't want to be last. I'm sure. So
Right. Well, Reese, you're the official team principal for the Be Forever Cool race team. So, would we looking to
Absolutely.
sign Pedro early, if you had the opportunity to, or like Lewis said, do you want to wait and see how he does next season and then make a decision?
I mean, I'm with Lewis. I think you want to wait, see if his stock goes up, to see what happens, to see how he's actually going to perform. Um, just kind of wait the sign because maybe you jumped the gun and sign him too early. What if he gets hurt? What if he gets really injured? Or he just doesn't perform well? A lot of guys will say, I want to leave and then don't perform well at all. And it's like, well, you really ain't doing thing over here. So what's the purpose? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I lost everybody. I'm the only one here.
Yeah, you're the only one here, but you didn't lose
Okay.
everybody. I'm just working it out. It's like TJ, man. I'm still working out to get back to work after taking some times, man. What about these other guys? Okay, we talked about Acosta. What about the Frankies of the world? The Rins, some of these other guys. Is it more on the team side, the riders side, to kind of start making those advances to possible future teams, or is it more the teams that need to seek out the riders?
Initially, at the beginning of the year, it's the team deciding what they want to do with the current riders. So, like right now, for instance, Aprilia has two riders that they need to decide if they want to re-sign them for 2027. I think at the very top of Aprilia's list is they definitely want to re-sign Bezecchi because he's shown that he's a great rider on the bike. He was super competitive last year, and I don't think he's going to come into this year and be less competitive than he was last year. So I think at the very top of the list, every manufacturer has like their A category riders that are their own riders, whether or not they want to re-sign them. Then their A category riders that are not on their team now, and how important it is to try to get them on their team. Because if they only have two seats, you got to decide, do I want to keep one of these two guys and get rid of one of these guys? Do I want to try to keep both of the guys that I have and not even bother looking? So the team has to kind of go through this process first. And once the team sorts things out, then the team has to try to go after these guys. And now that's where the riders step in. And this usually happens usually by like the fifth or sixth round of the season, where like the teams have kind of presented opportunities to the riders, and now the riders need to go out and either test the rider market or decide, hey, I want to stay with this team. Let me sign with them now. And that's why usually you'll hear about re-signings before you hear about new signings.
Okay.
New signings usually come a little bit further in the season because if it's May and we're in our third race and my main rider is like, yeah, next year I'm going to Yamaha, I'm not giving him shit for the rest of the year. He's lucky if I buy him tires, bro. So that's why you hear re-signs during the season, and towards the end of the season, like when the season is kind of ending, when you're down to like the last 4 or 5 events of the year, that's when you hear, oh, this rider's going to a new team next year. Because if a
Yeah.
rider tells me in April, I'm out, cool, bro. Your chain's gonna break a lot this year, man. Just
Now,
randomly. You're
now
gonna
I
get all the used parts.
now, now I understand why Jorge Martin has the contract he has because of team principals like you and lawyers like you.
Yo, man, you gotta. It's all about the numbers. I'm paying you $8 million to ride with me this year, and you're telling me before the third event of the year you're not going to be with me the next year. Now, I don't want to see my investment go to waste, but you're no longer my A rider.
Right.
You're not getting any of my new equipment. You're not getting any of the new systems. I'd rather give that to somebody on my satellite team And maybe that kid on the satellite team will take your place next year for half the price.
Right. Now, TJ and Reese, do you think Lewis is taking it personal, or someone in the position to make decisions like that is taking it personal when a rider says they're leaving early? Because on one hand, if you give an early notice, you're being respectful. You're not leaving the team hanging, right? And usually, what we have heard from riders that have done that, they say they're giving 100%. Firsthand, Reese, what that's like, and also Lewis. I'll leave that last rebuttal for you at the end. But what do you think? Is it a good thing for riders to say, "Hey, I'm leaving early," or should wait until the last minute? Like, I don't want to pick on Vinales, but it's the closest name that came to mind. We start with TJ.
I mean, so TJ goes.
Go ahead, Reese. You already got it. Go ahead, man.
Nah, I mean, it's like a Vinales. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, if a rider says I want to leave early, how do I know if that rider is giving a full 100% to it, or crashing purposely, or just not really caring, like just not really giving a damn about anything? I mean, we put as guys, the crew guys, you put hard work into this bike to get it to where you need to be to win, and now you're just smashing up parts. How do you know I have that part still available, especially if it's a custom made part? Now I got to spend another 30-hour man-hour labor to rebuild that part and take all my time up just to get it back to with you.
Right.
So
I realize you guys take it personally when a rider leaves early, because you guys lean on data a lot to tell what a rider is doing and not doing. What are your thoughts, TJ, on what Risa said? And it because we hear the rider say, "I'm here for the job." On camera, they say they're here and they hit you 100%. And I think you guys have access to the data to know if they're giving 100% or not. What are your thoughts, TJ?
Well, I mean, yeah, like I gotta see. Like Lewis could be very harsh, but he might not be giving me all the things that he's saying. So I might want to, say that I want to leave, and I might not feel sorry because I feel like I can get a better opportunity down the road. Same time, like it ruins reputation. You know what I'm saying? So like you don't want to be like Jorge Martin, or like he's like you can't do this anymore, otherwise he's out the game, out of GP. So, and also you don't want to ruin your brand. So it's like a thin line. So I mean, yeah, there's some harsh teams, but you have to be, because you can't be weak. Basically, like you can't just let people just say what they want to do.
Right.
You're like in control. You do want a good rider, but like Maverick, yeah, he has uh, something about him that just leaves a sour taste. I don't want to like bring it to like Moto America style with Josh Herring, that type of deal, but you don't want to burn any bridges. So like you don't want to say you're leaving too early, I guess,
Right.
unless you sign that contract. But
I
at the same time, it's just
another rumor I saw is that he wished he would have handled the Yamaha situation differently. So we're all growing. Anything we missed, Lewis? Anything you want to add?
Nah, that's it, man. I mean, like I said, the way the contracts usually come out, if you look at the ebbs and flows, is the first half of the year is re-signings. So you'll see all the re-signings happen pretty early in the year for the key players. Like Yamaha is going to want to re-sign Quadraro. If it's going to happen, they're going to have to back up the Brink truck early in the year. Ducati's going to want to re-sign Marquez. That's going to happen. They'll re-sign Marquez before they sign Pecco. That's guaranteed. KTM is going to want to try and re-sign Vinales and Acosta. Like, I don't see, the other two guys. I don't see Bastianini, and I don't see what's his name?
Vinales. Bender.
Bender. I don't see Bender and Bastianini as the top two prospects for KTM. I see
Vinales
and Acosta.
Okay.
And then for Aprilia, their top re-signing is going to be Bezzecchi. I don't know if Martin is going to be in there, I think it's going to really come down to how Martin handles the first half of this season,
Yep.
because he's an expensive rider. He's a rider that comes with a lot of baggage. And last year he put the team through a lot of drama that he didn't need to put them through.
Yep.
And so, I hate to say it, man. Italians have long, long memories for bitterness. I don't know if you know this.
I don't think it's just Italian. I mean,
Eh,
listen, we're going to be talking about the 2005
Specifically,
season, and the Spaniards dominated from like 2009 until recently with the VR46 Academy, bro. So,
but I don't think Aprilia is gonna look at this as, you know what, we got an opportunity to get out of the Martin game
right.
and possibly get into like an Enea Bastianini, get into a Quartararo, get into another top flight rider, and now have two top guys on the factory Aprilia team with a bike that's coming along really, really well. That
Right.
everybody's saying is the most competitive bike behind the Ducati.
Right.
What do you
You
think
know,
the contract's gonna look like?
Huh?
What do you think the contract's gonna look like? Is it gonna be like 1 year signings, 2 year signings? Like
The only person that I would sign, just looking at the list here, the only person I would sign to 1 year or like 1 year with an option would be a rookie or like somebody like that.
yeah.
Like everybody else, like Raul Fernandez came on strong. Raul Alguera, he started strong and then he withered pretty fast. Like he might be a year-to-year deal if he stays with Trackhouse.
no,
Vinales, I would give him a 2-year
agree with that
deal.
one. I think he hurt himself, and he saved himself. He at least deserved another couple of years. I was gonna say, if
I would give him a guarantee with a one re-up if he
yeah,
finishes with certain points or in a certain position. Like, hey, if you finish in the top 10, your second year is automatically guaranteed.
right,
Because you
because
gotta put a carrot in some of these guys, especially the younger guys, man.
well, yeah, I was gonna say because you can at least
Yeah.
move people up, right? If say they got rid of Jorge Martin, they can bring one of those guys up from Trackhouse to factory and bring somebody in from Moto 2, right? They don't necessarily, because at this point, you know, Trackhouse has the luxury of being a new team and doesn't necessarily have to show dominance, but they're kind of doing what VR46 did, right? They kind of came in and kind of they're showing themselves in year two. Which is good for American team or a new team in general, right?
Yep.
So what
Yep.
are your thoughts, TJ or Reese, on that? And would it make sense for Aprilia to you know you know use the satellite team, even though they're all on factory bikes, and bring people in that way versus snatching a Bastianini or one of these other guys? And I'm a big fan of Bastianini, and I'm not sitting here saying that's a bad look, but you already got two guys that I think I agree would have gotten on the podium this past season if he didn't hurt himself, because he was running really well before even Bezecchi figured it out. Reese or
Yeah.
I'll go. I mean, I think it's a good look to actually bring them up from that satellite team, put them on their factory bike, especially if they're doing good. I mean, look what they were going to do. Look what they did to Marquez or Jorge. They were planning on doing. They was bringing someone up and then put a younger guy on the satellite team. Like, I mean, you've seen, bro, what's that? Algora come in there.
Mhm.
So it's almost like a stepping stone. You actually get in there, you learn the bike, or out of gear. I'm sorry. You learn the bike, you learn how the bike handles, you learn the team. You're not expected to be the top guy coming in there. So I think going into the satellite team is actually a great stepping stone, and then give the rookies and the younger guys from Moto 2 an actual place in the seat to actually get into the GP series, into the big class.
Nice. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts, TJ? Anything you want to add to the Aprilia squad? And it seems like Aprilia is going to be number 2 bike or number 2 factory behind Ducati.
No, I think they have a really great lineup. Besides knowing what Martin can do in his situation, hopefully he can come back strong. But it is good to have like Ira on the satellite, where you can develop him to possibly be a potential uh, 1 or 2 rider on your factory team. So I do like their setup right now. Definitely think it'll be really strong going into 2026.
Okay.
Especially the way Bezecchi rode his ass off, and hopefully set an example that this bike is good. So,
No doubt, no doubt. Let's jump into World Superbike a little bit. And, maybe a little bit late for Alvaro Batista, but he's still talking about that weight thing and Majiggy.
Man, he needs to shut the hell up, man.
I'm with Lewis. Just shut the hell up.
yeah.
Come on, man. Listen, go put 20 pounds on you and walk around for a year.
I got it right now. I've been walking around for the past year and a half with it. Trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to get lighter. I'm just saying, like Alvaro Bautista, and this was a complaint even in MotoGP with Bautista, with Pedrosa, with all these little jockeys. That
I purposely meant to cut you off, but I felt bad for Pedrosa because with when the temperature was low and he couldn't put the heat in those tires, he
suffered. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, if anybody, if I was Pedrosa, I would actually walk around with an extra 20 pounds, and if it got a little cold, I'd be like, yo, put this on the bike so I get a little bit more weight on the rear tires so it won't be so cold. But Alvaro Bautista, man, over the past 2 years has just become a complaint machine.
Yeah.
And, there's a reason why he's not on the factory team. It's not like he sucked on the bike. I think they just got tired of listening to him whine and complain. I mean, just an interview he did, I think, a day or two ago, he's saying that he's the reason why World Superbike is such a prominent place for MotoGP guys to go now. I'm like, what?
He has a point, though. He has a bit of a point. He has
what point?
Remember, the goal is to.
But think about this for a second, right? Because in watching these old GP races, we saw a lot of World Superbike riders going to GP. Now we're seeing the reverse. A lot of GP riders going in. But before Alvaro, from 2015 to 20, there was Nicky Hayden. There was Tito Rabat, like
Marco Melandri,
but
Biaggi. You gonna tell me that Alvaro
Bautista
Bautista is more important than Biaggi?
Yeah, but that was like we're talking about 2015 and up. We're not talking about like 2015 back.
But World Superbike was for where the old guys went to die and retire.
Yeah, exactly. That's the dumping ground for guys that can't make it in GP anymore.
No,
you're not making World Superbike better.
You have to think Jonathan Rea dominated for a grip. So you got the 6 years where Jonathan Rea dominated, and then you got after that. So there was a period of time where MotoGP riders weren't dominating in World Superbike until Alvaro came through. But you're absolutely right, Biaggi, the guy Melandri, all these guys that came out before him, and vice versa from World Superbike to go to GP and stuff like that. So he has a point, but it's also the same, and I'm going to talk about. It's also like people saying, Marquez is the greatest comeback ever, right? It's a bit of a hype.
Yeah, I think that Bautista's been his hair dye. The chemical's too strong, and it's getting through his skull and messing with his brain, because he really is starting to believe his own hype. Like, he's smelling his own farts and thinking they smell good.
Right.
Like, you didn't go to World Superbike. You didn't have a job in MotoGP. You had no other choice.
Right.
And when you got there was other competition there. You had Jonathan Rea already there. You had all these other guys there.
You have to think about it, though. You had the guys before on the Ducati that struggled.
Because the bike was a shit box.
In 2018, 2019.
From the time that the 1099 stopped being the MotoGP, the World Superbike platform for Ducati, the entire Panigale years, that bike was a shit box.
Come on, man. Choppy Davis.
Listen, all the Panigales were shit boxes. What bike did Alvaro Bautista win on?
These guys.
The V4. When he first went there, he went on a Panigale, not on a V4.
No, same thing. Panigale V4.
No. Different motor. V-twin to V4.
No, he didn't. Like Alvaro went on a V4. It wasn't because 2018 was the V4 year, so he was on a V4. And the guys before that maybe, but yeah. Chavi Davis. These guys were already on the V4,
Hold on a second.
but they couldn't beat Ray, right? They couldn't beat Ray. They couldn't beat Tap Rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the other guys, like Lois Baz and all these guys. They couldn't.
2019 is when they went to the V4.
Right? Yeah.
It was a special edition in 2018. In 2019, they went to the V4.
Yeah.
So before that, Chavez, all these guys that were racing were on the Panigale, which was a shit box. It was designed as a shit box, and that's why they had to completely redesign the bike, because somebody thought that making the engine, the frame, was a good idea. Because it worked so good for them in MotoGP for all the years that Casey Stoner and nobody else could make the bike work. And then once they actually decided to put a frame around a V4 motor, all of a sudden the bike got better.
Yeah.
So Alvaro Bautista just came in at the right time. It's not like there wasn't already talent there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then even when he came in, guess what? He won a bunch of races in a row because he should. He's a MotoGP rider going to World Superbike on a very dominant, on a bike that had a great platform.
Right.
And guess what? As soon as they made one change to the bike, what happened? My man folded like a cheap suit, kept crashing.
It wasn't one change. It was a big change, but you also had the 2 years where he went to Honda, right? And you had Red and all these other guys that came.
If he's so good, why didn't he make the Honda better?
Well,
I'm just saying.
That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing
changed
it up.
The game. Alvaro Bautista changed the game, but when you went to Honda, guess what? You only as good as the bike you on.
TJ, you want to chime in?
I mean, I was just gonna say, Alvaro. When I started watching him, he was definitely on a good run. I don't know who changed the game. I don't know if it was Top Rock who was like this. The weight got to change where the rules flipped, and they had to.
Scott Redden.
Okay, so when they added that weight.
Why they listen to Scott Redden, but they listen to Scott Redden and they screwed. And Scott Redden said, I don't want to say he's like because
say it.
It's saying like Gypsies was involved with Sete, so but Top Redden is the one that changed, and Scott Redden hasn't done anything since in his mouth.
That's bad luck, you know.
Like
But yeah, Alvaro just needs to. He should have just been eating a lot of food this off season. You know, just even the playing field for himself. Like instead of just complaining. I don't. It seems like he is the only one complaining. I don't know if it's only him that's had to add weight because I don't know who else.
It's only him.
Falls
He's
into that category.
Guy in
I mean,
wait till what's the name?
He's the lightest guy, but I'm sure there's other guys around his weight that probably has to be around the same range. But I'm not sure. But that's kind of suck if he's the only one that has to add weight. But still, he needs to. It's been 2 years now. He needs to all right, this rule's not going to change. So do something about it. He's just getting old. He's getting older and grumpier. That's all.
All right. No doubt there, man. It's pretty crazy. All right. I think we have beat the rumor mill and what's going to happen in like 45 days or how many days people are counting down and all this stuff. But let's talk about 2005 MotoGP. Valentino Rossi has won his 5th world title. You ever seen these cartoons of Tom and Jerry where the cat is just playing with the mouse and just kind of just letting them run away and then grabbing them back, letting them run away, grabbing them back? It seemed like Rossi kind of did that all year. And the only competitor who apparently had a gypsy curse on him, Sete, he was the only one that was really challenging him, and it was wild to see because in today's racing, outside of the tire pressure that we've seen from Marquez and Bagnaia this past year, where they let riders go in front of them. In most racing, we don't let people go in front of you. You have to get in front of me, but I'm not going to let you. That's ridiculous to see. So, what do you guys thought on the 2005 season after, Rossi won his, 5th world title to still come out and still want to dominate, still want to win 13 races or whatever for the season and just obliterate these people and essentially play with them.
Please know who came out second that season, an irrelevant rider that went to World Superbike called Marco Melandri, but
yeah, I know.
Alvaro Bautista is greater than him. Just continue.
I was going to bring that up too, but we'll start. Let's go with Reese. Let's go with Reese. What are your thoughts, man, on the 2005 season? What Rossi did? You know, the point where commentators are talking about there's a gypsy curse, and you know they got to try to undo it for Sete and all this stuff, and the fact that you guys, more Lewis and Reese, because you on that level of seeing these riders, you know, like, yeah, you have seen riders that struggle, that are in front and just make dumb mistakes for reasons that you can't explain. So it's easy to say it's a curse, right? So, but what are you guys' thoughts on the 2005 season? I thought it was pretty incredible, one of the best seasons ever, and it just shows the level of riding.
I mean, yeah, it shows the level of riding. I mean, it shows the mentality that you have to stay up front. You know, Lewis would tell you, it's I don't ever say it's a gypsy curse. I call it a rider's curse. They just get the hell in their fucking head and start thinking too goddamn much. That's exactly what they do. It's like, don't think, just ride. And when you can actually not worry about something and not think so damn much, you'll just become a better rider. Just actually go out there and ride. It's like a rider will get in their head, they start thinking so much, they actually want to become almost a mechanic. They want to become. And they try to do things out there. They're like, oh shit, do I need to do this? Oh shit, I think I messed up. And as soon as they get the fuck out there and start thinking that, oh shit, I'm out front. Now what the fuck do I do? Do I do this? Do I do just ride the motherfucker? And as soon as they start doing that, oop, down they go.
Listen,
That's it.
man, I know that feeling of sitting here like tire pressure right. It's like not eating enough food, not drinking enough water. You know, the head game is for real. Anyway, your thoughts, TJ?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was definitely another great season. I know we chatted a little about it before, but I think Rossi definitely made a statement race one, uh, you know, with Sete. And Sete had high hopes from his season before, that this was the season where he can, get some wins, and it just didn't happen that way. It's just crazy how it does seem like he was cursed. But Rossi made a statement the first race at Jerez, that last pass in the last corner. Um, and then from there, it was just like he had no luck at all. I mean, he, got on the podium Sete a few times, maybe two or three times, but the times that he was in first and either crashed or ran wide into the dirt and just couldn't hold it, it's just like Reese says, this dude was in his own head the whole season. Rossi definitely messed his mental up, and I said it was a cakewalk for Rossi. I mean, he did have his challenges, but he already knew that he can pull three riders in if he had to.
Yeah,
He's always been running up front for the past couple seasons. So all he had to do was finish top five, basically. He only had a couple riders challenging him, so I felt like it was a cakewalk. He did end up winning by over 100 some points. So, but it was an incredible season, I think.
right. What do you think, Lewis? He should have gone to see the gypsies and talk to the folks in the caravan.
Man, it was it's painful to watch somebody just being dismantled, and that's what, and he dismantled himself, man.
Yeah.
So, like, by the numbers, in that season there were 17 races, and they didn't do sprint races then, so there was only 17 GPs. That's it. That's all they raced. In the 17 GPs, Rossi had one retirement, and that was the only time that he finished off the podium the entire season. So he was either on the podium winning 11 times, or in second or third place 6 times, with only one race that he didn't finish. Sete Gibernau had 7 DNFs where he didn't finish at all. And he was only on the podium, and he was only on the podium 4 times. So in 11 races, 7 times he didn't finish, 4 times he was on the podium, and 6 other times he wasn't even on the podium. Like, you're talking a guy that the year before came in second in the championship, and this next year the dude couldn't find pit in, pit out, couldn't find the tire vendor, didn't know where the gas can was, like nothing went right for him, man. And this is kind of where a little bit of that allure of Rossi kind of came into play, because Rossi, I think, was having one of the things that a lot of riders will tell you is if you're having a good time, you're riding really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're confident in your riding, you actually are riding around with a smile under your helmet, because you know you could put the bike anywhere. You're not crashing. You're qualifying first on almost every race, or in the top three in every race. Like, you're doing everything you want to do. The bike's going exactly where you wanted to go. When you get into that sync with your bike, that's the happy place, man. And what happened to Sete is he got so far away from that unhappy to an unhappy place that every time he put his leg over the bike, in his head was like, "Am I going to finish this lap?" And guess what? 7 times he didn't finish it because he was probably in his own head. And what Rossi was doing was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna let you go in front. I'm just gonna keep showing you a wheel, showing you a wheel, showing you. I know I can beat you at any time I want.
Right. But you
And
have to
You
realize,
said,
if I
you have to
keep
realize,
showing you this wheel, you're gonna fold."
yeah, I was gonna say you have to realize, like, and you've raced, you guys have raced. Um, to have somebody sitting behind you, you hear the engine, you hear the revs, you hear the downshifts, lap after lap, corner after corner. Like, how can it's you see Lorenzo do it. I mean, Lorenzo's the only one I can say that one of the guys that can stay out front and just not fold.
Yep.
Like that's hard to, because you're hearing it. It's like how do you tune that out when you're hearing it? And you have to get to that level though, right?
Lorenzo was one of the guys that could break you from the front.
Yeah.
Most guys break you from the back.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, when he hears you behind, he is just like metronomic in the way that he does his laps. Like, I remember watching Lorenzo races, and he would do 22 laps within like 2/10 of a second every lap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, even if you're behind him and you're using him as a rabbit, eventually he's gonna break you, dude. Like, you're not gonna be able to do that the way he's doing it.
Right.
And Rossi knew he could break people from behind. He just had to stay there and had them
Yeah.
listen. But
And
even when he rode against Lorenzo, Lorenzo would win a lot of races from the front and break Rossi.
Yeah,
You know,
and we'll talk about it as it come up, because we'll see how Rossi was, and we're fortunate to have history in front of us, or behind us, as far as watching these reruns and stuff like that, because
yeah,
we can look at races where Rossi lost sight of what the young Rossi used to do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because at this point, he was the predator that was toying with riders, and he got away. I mean, listen, the guy has 5 championships in a row. Shout out to McDoon, who also has 5 championships in a row. I believe Marquez has 5 or 4 in a row as well. You know what I mean? It's not an easy. Obviously Jonathan Ray has it in World Superbike. They make it look easy. And having fun doing it, but it's pretty wild. And I want to bring up Melandri, who's third year in MotoGP and fighting. You want to talk about Edwards, who he jumped on the Yamaha and Rossi's teammate and fighting. Nicky Hayden is third year, and he's beaten. And these guys are the top guys, and they're young guys. So is it also like a changing of the guards that were happening around this time as well, where we see the young riders, really young, really up front, where a lot of the older guys like Kevin and Biaggi and some of these other guys and Caparossi and these guys are starting. I mean, obviously they got injuries and all this other stuff, but they're starting to fall off. It's also a time when there's a changing of the guards as far as in MotoGP too. What are your thoughts, TJ?
yeah. I mean, these young guys like Nicky Hayden and all them, like they definitely showing the potential. So like, uh, it kind of like it's hard to explain. Like, yeah, like you see the new talent coming in, so the focus is more on like Rossi and the new talent, so it kind of fades out uh, the ones who can't do it anymore, like Sete. And I know what we were talking about earlier, not to like go off topic, but like, did Sete sign to a new to Ducati during the season? So maybe he wasn't getting, like all the products like we were talking earlier. Um, but 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 yeah, I think the young talent like Nicky and all them is it's like the new wave. And then you kind of see, like you're saying, you see it with the MotoGP now. Like it's like the younger talent is being recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's only a select few of guys that are still around that's just been there for a long time. Otherwise, it's they're kind of pushed out. So
Right, right. Reese, you see this in World Super, in Motor America, the Superbike class. Obviously, you see it watching World Superbike and MotoGP. It's easy when you're a new rider to come in and win the lower classes and win them back to back and stuff like that. But when you step up to the big dogs, it's a different story, right?
Oh hell yeah, it's a big different story. It's something to prove. You're trying to go against guys that's been doing it for years, guys that know the game, guys that are going to let you get out front. And I'm going to let you go out front. You're going to tire yourself out, or you're going to make a mistake. We get the young guys coming in and say, "I want to prove something," and they'll get out front and make an easy mistake, and then that's it. They can't bounce back. Or am I getting in your head? I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to show you a will. I mean, you got to look at like an old guy, when Josh Hayes was in his prime. I mean, you couldn't keep up with the old dog. It was just like the guy was untouchable. I mean, look at Johnny Ray. He was untouchable for 6 seasons in a row. He was the old dog. Now you had the new young guy come in. You had Top Rack come in. You had Cameron come in. That was just something of a different type of breed that the older guy saw something in,
Mm-hmm.
and they took under their wing and said, "Hey, I'm going to show you something." And they took it and they ran with it and put their own spin on it. Now they're untouchable.
Right. Lewis, how important is that? As you hear, Reese talks about the old guards teaching the young guards and taking them under their wing, and I think the old people have to like you to say, "Okay, I'm going to help you." They're not giving the secrets to everybody. How important is that for a young rider?
I mean, that's mentorship. That's if you look at any trade in the world, you come in as a rookie, then you become a journeyman, and then you eventually become a tradesman and a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to if you can lean on somebody that's been there and done that, that's the people that you want to turn to. I mean, Reese just mentioned Josh Hayes. Josh Hayes actually mentors a lot of the riders now in Moto America on their riding. Like, he's a rider coach for a lot of riders. He'll sit down with riders and review their data and show them what they can do a little bit differently, because he knows what the data looks like, because he's been on all these tracks. He's ridden these tracks. He's won on these tracks. And he can go in and sit with you and he can show you, hey, on this corner, if you did this a little different, because this is the way I used to do it, you might gain a tenth of a second. You might, get a better drive. You might do. So learning from guys that have been there is super important. And that's why it's good to have an ego, but it's a good to keep your ego in check, because if you don't keep your ego in check, these well-known guys aren't going to want to mentor you, or they're going to look at you as a threat. So mentorship is super important, especially from quality riders. You look at what Valentino Rossi does through his VR46 Academy. There wouldn't be as many as Italians riding right now in MotoGP if they didn't come through the VR46 Academy. Almost every Italian in MotoGP right now owes it to the VR46 Academy.
Except for Bastianini.
Yeah. Oh no, Bastianini is part of was part of VR46 as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't even know that. There you go.
So all these guys in one way or another owe a thanks to Rossi for being that mentor and giving them the pathway to get into Moto 3, Moto 2, MotoGP. And even here in the US, Josh Hayes is a great example. I mean, Reese will tell you, man, he goes into the paddocks with these young guys and he will sit there and look at their data and talk to them. And he does this all out of the kindness of his heart, man. He's not getting paid for it. He should be getting paid for it, but he's not. He does it because he wants to see young talent continue to grow.
You had 2 American guys from VR46 here.
Yep. And then you see you see in this year, Nicky Hayden had been with Rossi, so he kind of knew already, or he had worked under Rossi. He saw how Rossi worked. Colin Edwards is now with Rossi in the same garage, seeing how he works. So both of these American guys also benefited from them, because if you look at all the other Americans, dude, by this time Kenny Roberts Jr. was well on his downturn, on his way out. John Hopkins struggling. He was struggling on and off.
Suzuki, I meant to ask that. Is that the Suzuki? Was that the Suzuki, or was it really just
No, Hopkins had some personal issues. So on the track and off the track, he had a lot of issues because of injuries and so forth.
Right.
And so that made it difficult for him. And then if you look at the rest of these guys, dude, Ruben Zaus, he was already, well past his prime. Troy Bayliss, I mean, this dude had been racing since 1963, I think. At this point, he's like 75 years on a bike. So he was, so it was a little bit of a changing of the guard. And this happens every 8 to 10 years in MotoGP.
Yeah.
You get this new influx of younger guys that get the opportunity and all of a sudden start to step up, because a lot of these guys, 30s, early mid 30s, you're done.
Yeah.
There's few guys that are racing in their late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, outside of
How about Bautista?
yeah, well, him and there was a British guy that was racing for Hoffman or somebody. He was out there 41.
I mean, Rossi was racing pretty late in his game
Yeah.
too, and he was still competitive, but even he eventually lost his factory seat to somebody else. And this is just the decline, man. You can win every race in the world. There's one race you never win, and it's the race against Father Time.
Yeah.
For real, you cannot beat that man.
Undefeated.
I mean, you had JD and I think Gagne come through VR46.
Yeah, they've been to the ranch. They've done.
They've been to the ranch.
That's pretty crazy. It's what's. I mean, I've talked about it in basketball mostly, but in same thing in motorcycle racing. These guys, the guys that can stay healthy, have the best careers. They may not be the best riders, but they were able to stay healthy and they have the best careers, because you got these guys that they fall once, they're like glass, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's
time.
and that also goes back to being young. When you're young, you bounce. When you get old, you thud.
Yeah.
We ain't bouncing that hard, man. We bouncing hard and not getting back up.
Is one bounce directly on the ground. Boom.
Medic.
Bring out, what is it, that little white hay bale that says medic? Bring that out, and I'm not getting up.
So let me ask you this: do you guys think? I know the answer, I guess, but it's I still gotta ask it. Speaking of medic, because like back then, these riders used to get they always get knocked out. Like they were saying good night for a little bit, like some of these NFL players. It's like, do you think that that riders, obviously, I know with the tech and everything has gotten better, so it's like that's the one thing we see. We don't see riders getting as hurt when they crash, and when they do get hurt nowadays, though, it's still not as bad as then, because these guys, you see legs just once you see them roll a couple, you're like, that's broken. It's like that leg is not supposed to bend like that. You can just see it. We're not seeing that as much anymore, but we're still seeing some serious crashes.
Well, we're still in the time before airbags. So the airbags haven't been put into play yet. So what's happening is the tracks are starting to adapt a little bit more for safety, but the safety equipment is still the same safety equipment for the previous 15 years.
Right.
PJ?
Yeah. I'm saying we're starting to see like more accidents when it's like higher pace. I'll say more like qualifying the front runners, but yeah, like the accidents and the safety back then is still crazy. Like they were actually carrying people off on the stretchers.
Oh yeah.
There was races where they I think it was the year before, but like I still can't get out of my head. Like guy crashed on the straightaway and they just rolled him off to the side and they just kept going. So like like we definitely have come a long way. Where how Lewis said we kind of matched the safety of the track with the gear. Like there's a lot of runoff now, and then obviously the technology with the suits. And there's technology with boots, gloves, all that stuff, helmets. So we've gone pretty far with that, and it's good to see from where we came from.
Anything you want to add, Reese?
I mean, I agree with Lewis and TJ. I mean, we come a long way. I mean, I know this is Lewis field because he deals with all the suits and the crash impact. So, but I definitely agree. We have come like back in the day, you just seen them getting rolled off, getting pushed off to the side and just leave them there to the end of the race. The one crash that stands out in my head still, even though they had a little bit more safety, was the Simicelli crash.
Uh-huh.
That just always stands out in my head. But I mean, the airbags that we have now is a lot better than what they had before. The suits are a lot tougher. The helmets are a lot better. Um, it's just the crashes that we have now are. It's just like we're pushing our bodies to the limit. They're pushing their bodies to the limit. To the absolute limit of speed and the G forces that they're doing. But we all know the faster you go, the harder that ground hits.
No doubt there. Before, go ahead.
So
Floyd.
as far as safety goes, like when it comes to helmets, the drop test for a helmet back then was just a standard straight drop test, and most helmets get dropped from the same distance because the speed you're going forward makes it irrelevant to the speed you hit the ground when you go downward.
Mhm.
If that makes any sense, if you're going 100 miles forward, you're only still falling 6 feet downward.
Right.
You're just skipping. So one of the things that they didn't have back then is they didn't have rotational force impact tests. And most of the guys that did get their bell rung or were knocked out, they weren't always knocked out from the fall from the bike. Even when you were ejected off the bike and high sided, at a peak, maybe you hit like a 7.5 foot height.
Mhm.
You don't get launched 20 feet in the air like they always say in MotoGP. Like if you got launched 20 feet in the air, you would clear the fence. Like you get launched, about 7-8 feet in the air, and the drop test for most helmets is about 7 or 8 feet high, and it hits the ground in a certain amount of energy. Now, what they didn't have then that most manufacturers have now is rotational impacts, because that's where you really get hurt in motorcycle crashes. It's not the initial thud of hitting the ground unless you fall in a really bad way. It's all the rotating after you hit the ground. It's all that frictional force, that the inertial force that you're trying to dissipate. And when you put your hands out to try to stop yourself, I'm sorry, that's the equivalent of trying to stop a 100-mile-an-hour car with your hands. You're just going to break your fingers, your wrists, your elbows, dislocate shoulders. That's why you kind of tuck and roll and bring all your extremities in, because you're trying to
Right.
dissipate that energy. So when we get into like the next couple of years, you'll see that the safety equipment continues to change throughout the years. And even now, safety equipment is still changing. Airbags are getting bigger. Helmets have new technology in them to take into account rotational force. But even with all these injuries, most of it is still just broken bones, dislocated shoulders, things like that. It's not like a fighter that gets punched in the face, 100 times a bout, and then in 10 years they start to show CTE. As of right now, I don't think any motorcycle racer has CTE. And no matter how many unless he's crashed a really bad career and crashed like 300 times.
Like Oliver.
Mark Marquez on Honda.
Well, Mark Marquez, most of his are just low sides. Like he loves to low side. He just throw that front end.
He got some high sides in there too.
He got a couple good ones, but the majority of his are low sides because he just asked too much of the front tire. But in this day and age, in 2005, high sides were still a very, very relevant thing. High sides now happen in MotoGP, but they happen under certain circumstances. Back in 2005, high sides were the norm. Like if you crashed, you were going over the top. You weren't going on the side.
I think Mark Marquez gets probably 7 feet as well.
He's probably like a 70-30 low side to high side ratio.
Brutal out there, guys. Well, before we get out, I'll leave. If you have anything I missed, I want to say and add in to this 2005 season, the craziness of it, or just a rumor. Oh, I did have one rumor. Oh man, I wish I could. I can't remember what it is, but there was one thing I heard that I wanted to bring up and we hadn't talked about. I don't remember what which rider it was, but we'll get it next time. Anything I missed, guys, before we get out of here?
I just want to say that Nicky Hayden had a hell of a season.
Mhm. Yes.
I mean, there was one race where he was winning and it happened to have a red flag with him, so body laid in the middle of the track. So, you know, so he didn't end up winning after the restart. But I mean, for his performance throughout the year, coming in third, like I can see how he rep Nicky Hayden, how he do.
And you know, for the first, I think that was the first year for Laguna Seca, or going back to Laguna Seca.
All
He
right.
he dominated the hell out of Laguna Seca.
And not to bring this up, but when they sang the national anthem, they messed it up.
Oh.
First time at Laguna Seca too.
And
The dude messed up the national anthem.
they don't let anything slip. They're like the two old dudes in the Muppets. They call it everything
Oh
out.
my god. But
Well,
yeah,
Laguna
that's the
Seca
last thing I
again.
want to get out.
That hometown half a second, man. That came in big time for Nicky. You know, he told
Oh
me,
yeah.
Like
you guys keep
seconds.
thinking I'm lying, but that hometown half second is real.
No, that dude, like, he was ghost from every session. He was top guy. That's something rare to see. And we know, and again, it's like we've seen it other tracks. So he didn't really dominate the same way, but it was pretty impressive the way he did. And you know, 30 year in MotoGP to do what he did, and obviously we know in 2006 he wins it, and we'll talk about that next week as well, and dive into it. But that's a very hell of a season for him, and no wonder why he's where he's at today and how we look at him today.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Sure.
No doubt. My name is Rex 45. We got TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee. We got Reese from Attack Yamaha. We got the real Louis Ortega, the numbers guy. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast, the number one podcast in the world. My name is Rex 45. Peace.
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 Peace.